Ali, you heard what the UN chief has said. The current economic distribution model is unsustainable. Some top economists have been saying this for almost 15 or more years. But this is not just an economic problem, it is also a socio-political problem. Is it possible to have a grand policy which can reframe the existing system?
Ijaz, you're absolutely right. What the UN chief is saying is not new. It's something some economists have been talking about for more than 2 decades now, that inequality is a massive global problem and we need to take this challenge squarely and seriously. Let me kind of paint before you the scale of the challenge by drawing on the historical experience of the US. So in the US in 1810, which is close to the emergence of full-blown free market capitalism, the top 10% of wealth holders controlled about 60% of the wealth. 100 years later in 1910, their share of wealth had actually increased to 80%. So that's the massive potential of free market capitalism to create enormous amounts of inequality in society. Now, in the US, inequality actually started to decline post World War I, and this was also something that started to happen in Europe, which followed a similar trajectory over time to the US. And that kind of decline in inequality kept happening all the way up till 1970, when the basic framework which caused the decline of the inequality was actually eroded by ideologies like Thatcherism and Reaganism, and then inequality has been rising since. So the challenge or the specter of inequality has again become a huge problem. When you talk about grand policy, I think one of the things we can very easily do is go back and look at the period in which we have experienced decline in inequality within the capitalist framework, and from countries which are much more equal. And if you look at the period between